Hey everybody, Mac the Monster, back with Marvel Heroes, and we got Venom on the chopping block for his game day release review. And I know a lot of people have been rating for him, and ooh, I can relate. So, he looks pretty awesome. This is the standard costume he comes with, the black costume, and it's pretty awesome. And this is the back, he's got the nice little Venom spiderling there. The Venom spiderling up front. Venom eyes, nice gnarly teeth. It's pretty awesome. I'm not sure where this comes from, but this is the anti-Venom costume. This white costume. It's got a black spider on him, but look at that. I might have to go with this one, just because of the red glowy. I like glowies. And that's the back. He's got the spikes going on. And what's nice is both have tendrils. I don't know if the tendrils will show if I just do some swipes. No, but if I go like that, there's some tendrils going on. They just kind of come out. And we'll go back to the black costume. Kind of hard to see here, but there are some tendrils coming out. So he's got tendril effects built into both costumes, which is pretty awesome. I like it. Starts out with some high durability and strength. He's all physical, and he's hybrided. Oops. So he's ranged and melee, just like Spider-Man. However, he doesn't play just like Spider-Man, so he's not a simple copy and paste. He has a lot of similarities to Spider-Man, but don't be fooled. He's not a simple copy and paste. And a lot of the copy characters I don't feel have been copy and paste. Even X-23, you know, she has a lot of similarities to Wolverine, but she has the acrobatic build, which I even prefer. And that's just not a copy and paste. But going into Venom's trees here, I'm going to start with the symbiosis. I don't know why I like to go right to left, but I do. Now here we got a pair of buffs that you get to pick from. And if you take one buff, like say we are indestructible here, you cannot take we are unstoppable. It will gray it out. So we are indestructible as a passive, and it will give you symbiotic adaptation, which regenerates 296 health when you activate symbiotic spikes. So immediately we should talk about symbiotic spikes, because every single passive will have something that affects symbiotic spikes. Symbiotic spikes is Venom's signature ability. It's a melee area ability. It does physical damage. It does a lot of physical damage. This is obviously at level 1. And it casts symbiotic adaptation, which symbiosis passive enhance the effects of this power. It's on a 25-second cooldown. And so that's the passive. So you'll regenerate health when you cast symbiotic adaptation. Damage negated is 20%. Maximum health increase. Regenerate health per second. And regenerate 100% of your maximum health when you are defeated. And when you're below 50% of health, you regenerate health per second also. And that's extra health per second. Or you could take We Are Unstoppable, which when you activate symbiotic adaptation, you negate 50% of incoming damage for 5 seconds. Damage negated 20%. So either way you get 20% damage negation. Defense rating. Health cost reduction. Now some skills require health. You spend health on some skills, and other skills you spend ichor, which works kind of like spirit. So this is going to reduce the cost of health that you have to spend in order to cast those health cost spells or skills. And for 10 seconds after being a delta killing blow. So should you die, instead your health cannot be brought down below 1, and that will last for 10 seconds on a 5-minute cooldown. And when below 50% maximum health, your damage negation is increased to 20%. So that gives you 40% damage negation below 50% health. Both of those sound really good. Your second damage tree, or passive tree, is We Are Powerful. Symbiotic adaptation increases the range of the initial pull effect of symbiotic spikes by 35%. And let's see, they moved symbiotic spikes. Where'd it go? Symbiotic spikes. Oh, symbiotic spikes. That's the signature. It used to be over here. And symbiotic spikes has a pull effect, which they don't mention in this. So everything around them is point blank area effect. Everything around them will get pulled towards them. And so the range of that is increased by 35%. You get critical hit rating from this, and you get a big chunk of it. Melee damage negation, an extra 5%. 25% chance on hit to cause an ichor burst, dealing extra damage on a 3-second cooldown. And you and your allies gain toughness, increasing defense rating and maximum health. Or you could go with We Are Cunning. Symbiotic adaptation, become invisible for 3 seconds when you activate symbiotic spikes. You get critical hit rating doubled for 10 seconds when you hit with a ranged power. And this critical hit rating is doubled for 10 seconds when you hit with a melee power. So if you're going melee heavy, you want We Are Powerful. If you're going ranged heavy, you want We Are Cunning. Projectile deflection chance 5%, 25% chance on hit to cause infect, dealing damage twice per second for 6 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. And you and your allies gain power, gaining damage rating, and move and attack speed. So, and their third choice of passives are between We Are Lethal, which symbiotic adaptation, you gain 300 ichor when you activate symbiotic spikes. You gain damage rating, damage plus 5% for ichor powers, and plus 20 maximum ichor. And that goes up as you spend points. And an ichor cost reduction of 3%. Or you can go We Are Legion, which is kind of one of my favorites. Symbiotic adaptation, instantly create 2 symbiotic spawns when you activate symbiotic spikes. So symbiotic spawns are basically pets that go kind of crazy for you. Damage rating plus 3, 25% chance when you hit with an ichor power to create another symbiotic spawn. Symbiotic spawn, physical damage, it tells you how much damage they do. That goes up dramatically as you level. Symbiotic spawns regenerate 3 of Venom's health per hit. That goes up dramatically. And you can have a maximum of 3 spawns on a duration of 15 seconds. So, it's kind of awesome. We already covered symbiotic spikes. And then you got parasitic tendrils. You basically hold down the hotkey and spew out tendrils. Maximum drain targets is 3. I believe you can hit more than 3 targets, but you're not going to drain more than 3 targets. But the 3 targets you can drain will give you ichor on hit. It will give you health on hit. You negate damage 50% while channeling, and your maximum channel time is 3 seconds. It's on a 10-second cooldown. Kind of a funky power. Going to the Monstrosity abilities. So you start off with Symbiotic Surge. This is a slam your fist into the ground and direct a surge of hungry symbiotic tendrils spiraling towards your enemy. This is your basic wave attack. Slam your ground and a wave channels towards enemies. Does physical damage and damage plus 50% against vulnerable targets. And it costs ichor. Infect. This has a passive effect of regenerate 5% of your missing health when you hit a weakened enemy, and an active effect of every enemy hit takes damage twice per second for 8 seconds, and weakens enemies by 10%. They deal 10% less damage. Deadly Maw. This does physical damage, and it does a big chunk of physical damage. Damage increased 50% to weakened enemies. Attack speed of 1.5 and ichor cost is 72. So you won't be able to lay this down for too long, but it does pretty good damage. And obviously, infect is the way to weaken enemies. Devouring Tendrils. So this shreds enemies with a continuous barrage of deadly spikes from your tendrils, leeching their life force. This does physical damage, a good chunk of it. Regenerates health when you defeat an enemy, and does it at an attack speed of 2.0, and it costs ichor. Again, anything that costs ichor, you're not going to be able to lay down the law with, because you only have so much ichor. Wicked Visage. This is the basic crowd control immunity. It also makes things cower. It's irresistible cower. They just do it. It's on a 15-second cooldown. So this is your PvP move. Then you got Writhing Tendrils. This is like a cone attack. This does physical damage twice per second, and it mobilizes everything for 2 seconds that it hits. Range power base damage for everything that it hits is plus 10% for 8 seconds. It costs 144 ichor, but it's on a 4-second cooldown. And Hungry Maw. This is a big attack. You jump forward and bite anything that's around you. It does a massive amount of physical damage. It's got a knockdown duration of 2 seconds. You regenerate 51 health when you hit. It has an ichor cost of 240, and it's on an 8-second cooldown. It's a little funky using it. It's not as comfortable as it sounds. Hungering Strike is your basic attack for melee. Does pretty good damage. It's on a high attack speed of 2.4, and it regenerates 8% of your missing health on hit. So the key there is missing health. If you're missing 10 health, you're gonna regenerate 0.8 health. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it, saying, "Hey, I got 20,000 health. I'm not regenerating 8% of it." It's not how it works. It's you're missing health. So if you're missing 1,000 health, you regenerate 800, or not 880. Sorry. And then Predator's Web. This is like Spider-Man's basic sticky move there. It does physical damage. It snares. It slows the enemy by 32% in movement and attack speed. It makes enemies vulnerable. They take 10% extra damage for 5 seconds after leaving the area of effect. However, while standing in it, they still take that. So keep that in mind. The area duration is 5 seconds. It restores ichor. It restores 75 ichor. However, it has a health cost of your 3% of your current health. So that's a big thing to remember. Health costs are your current health. So you could be down to 100 health. It would only cost 3 health to cast. Remember that. Well, if you're at 20,000 health, it's going to cost a lot more health. So remember that as well. Tendril Lunge. This is your basic charge. It does physical damage, and it regenerates 6% of your missing health. So this will regenerate health. You can do this all you want, and it won't cost anything to do. Dark Tendrils. Expend your own life blood to fuel deadly blows using your tendrils in combination with a monstrous beatdown. Does physical damage. Damage plus 5% for each 1% of your missing health. Restore 50 ichor. Costs 2% of your current health. and attack speed is 2.6. So this you can lay down pretty good until you die. That's basically what it is. And it'll take a long time to die this way, but it's going to add up with enemy damage. So it's an interesting attack to do some extra damage. Web Snapshot, it's a basic ranged attack. Does pretty good damage. It regenerates 8% of your missing health again, and it has a pretty good rate of fire at 2.3 a second. Web Barrage, this does physical damage again, and it does a good amount of physical damage. It does more damage for each 1% of missing health you're doing. It restores 50 ichor. It has a health cost of 2% of your missing health again, or I'm sorry, 2% of your current health again. And it has a rate of fire of 2.6 per second. So it streams out again. However, you can only do it for so long because it's costing health. Web Swing is your basic travel mode. It costs nothing to do. That's very nice. Come to Venom. This was a fun skill. This unleashes tendrils that cone out around you and pulls everything to you. So if you're going melee, it's a very fun skill. It's on a 4-second cooldown. It does a large chunk of damage. It increases melee power based damage by 10% for 8 seconds when you use it. It restores 150 ichor, and it has a health cost of 6% of your current health. So it does have a high health cost. And then Web Swing Kick, just like Spider-Man's. So, swing forward on suspended webs and knock down all enemies in your path. It restores 100 ichor, costs 4% of your current health. It has a knockdown duration, and it does pretty good physical damage. And that's Venom. He's very interesting. He's a super hybrid. He's a pet class. He's a range class. He's a melee class. He has ichor cost. He has life cost. So he couldn't be more spread across the board than you can imagine. So very interesting. He has a super amount of passives to pick from. So I'm looking forward to playing him. He was pretty good on the test server, and when I say they've been pretty good but not awesome, they've turned out to be awesome live. So I'm waiting to see, before I put my final judgment on him, what he turns out to be on live. He was starting to be real beastly on test server, and not a super damage beast, but an impossible to kill beast. So I'm hoping he stays that way, because he's just got so much damage across the board. It's one of those, how do I build him? Do I throw a little bit of everything in there so everything gets buffed, or do I just buff him in one single area and really let that rip in that one area? And that might be the way to go. So I hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to everybody real soon. But as a final bonus here, we'll summon Punisher Herbie and do a little close-up. That's a pretty cool looking Herbie. And that's it. So I'll talk to everybody real soon.